talking about? Oh my god.
Where's your segment?
I have it.
Huh?
I have it. Hey everyone, so today we're going to talk about foundation. I'm such a fucking weirdo. So a few of you asked me what are my favorite foundations or to see my foundation collection. To be honest with you, my foundation collection is not that large. It's not that large. I am a person with oily skin and very sensitive skin, so I can't really use too many things. So when I find something that works, I kind of stick with it. So the first foundation we're going to talk about today is from Smashbox. This is the Studio Skin 15-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. Looks like this. I am shade 4.15 in this, just for a reference point if you need it. Now, I don't hate this foundation, but I don't like it much either. It's actually what I have on right now. Surprisingly, this foundation is really good at controlling oil. You would think because it's hydrating that it's not good for oily skin, but it actually doesn't leave you shiny after a few hours of wear like many other foundations do. My main issue with this foundation is that it's hard to build it. So it claims to be a medium to full coverage, and I guess it can be full coverage once you build it up to that, but I find it very difficult to build it without it being patchy or streaky in certain areas of the face. So I use this when I'm going for more of a natural, flawless type of skin-like look rather than full coverage or to cover up any blemishes or anything like that. The next foundation we're going to talk about that I have is the NARS. What's the name of this thing? I totally forgot. It's on the fucking bottle. The name is on the bottle. The next foundation we're going to talk about is the NARS All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. I am the shade Dark 3, which is also Benares. I don't like this foundation at all. However, I spent $50 on it, so, you know, I'm going to use it. I don't like this foundation at all. It's supposed to be yellow, but on me, it's very fucking red for whatever reason. But that's not a problem because, you know, once you do your highlight, your contour, whatever, you can make things like that work for you. So that's not my issue. My issue with this foundation is that it's super fucking oily. Like, it doesn't control any oil that comes on my face. After an hour or two on this, it's like I have to blot my life away or powder my life away, and you start looking very, very ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong, because this foundation has beautiful coverage. Better coverage than the Smashbox, I believe. This is full coverage. This foundation is not very good at controlling oil, at least not on me. And like I said, it's very orange. So this is like my least favorite foundation that I own. But like I said, I spent $50 on it, and I'm not big on returning makeup items. I find that very disgusting. So I'm gonna use it. Now, these last two that I'm going to show you guys are actually my two favorites. So this is a drugstore foundation, if you will, e.l.f. I believe I paid $6 for this. It's a palette. Now, I love things like these. These are great if you don't know what kind of shade you are. You don't know your undertone. And as you can see, it comes with a corrector, which I use a lot. It comes with a corrector. So I love palette items. e.l.f. did a great job with this. This is more so something I'd use in the summer when I get a bit darker, as opposed to my other foundations, because I can mix these two or even this depending on how tan I get and have a perfect flawless finish. This is really really good. It has very good coverage. I don't notice oil seeping through my foundation throughout the day, at least not for a few hours. And when I say a few, I mean at least 4 or 5 hours. They have a light, a medium, and a dark, so you can pick whichever one works best with your skin or has your proper shade in it or whatever. And again, you can also mix all the shades, so don't worry. This is a good buy. Now, onto the holy grail. The best foundation I've ever touched in my life. This is the Lancome Tintido 24-hour foundation, and honey, this is my second bottle of this. Okay, my second bottle of this $47 foundation, okay? This is the best foundation I've ever purchased. This is a medium to full coverage foundation. However, it's not hard to build. You don't need much of it to build. About 1 or 2 pumps is gonna cover your entire face very well. Unless you feel like you need more coverage, then you, by all means, pump some more. But this controls oil better than any of those other foundations that I mentioned. I don't have to blot with this throughout the day. I don't find myself blotting with this throughout the day. I don't find myself needing more than 2 pumps to get a full face done. And it's so flawless and even, and it matches me to a T. Matches me to a T. I don't have to mix it with anything. I don't have to finish off my makeup in order for it to look, you know, put together. This is everything. This is everything, okay? So, not to mention, they have an extensive shade range. If you go into Sephora and they don't have all the colors that you need, don't worry. Go online, because there's about 7,000 other colors, literally, okay? This is great. Great. Now, a few honorable mentions that I've had finished or either gave away because I don't like them anymore. A very good option at a cheaper price point would be the L'Oreal Infallible foundation, the Pro Matte one. I haven't tried the dewy one, and I don't think I'm gonna try it either because I don't really like that dewy look. But the Pro Matte is excellent. Excellent. I think it's about $14 now. When I bought that foundation when it first came out, and it was only touching about $10 or $11. Now it's around $15, if I'm not mistaken. That foundation is great. That foundation reminds me, it's not a dupe. It's not a dupe. By any means, it's not a dupe. It just reminds me of the Lancome foundation that I mentioned. It's very full coverage, and it controls oil very well. The only issue with that is that it's drugstore, so you don't really have that shade range. That's a foundation that you would have to find a color closest to you and then make it work. I was the shade before the last one, which I believe is Soft Sable, and that's a foundation I had to make work, as in finishing off my makeup and then it looked put together. That's not a foundation, unless it's your shade, like unless it's definitely your shade, of course, because the shade range is so limited. But that's not a foundation that I personally could have just put on and had that on alone and that was it for the day. It was something I definitely had to work on. Another foundation is the Kat Von D Lock It foundation. Kat Von D, in my opinion, lacks shade range, which seems to be the issue with a lot of these foundations. They seem to forget there are people on the darker end of the spectrum. But you know, nowadays you see certain brands trying and branching out more. Like Kat Von D herself, she did extend her shade range a bit. I'm not sure by how many colors, but I still don't see one that necessarily works for me. However, that foundation will cover up the bloodiest of crime scenes, okay? Like, that is a full fucking coverage, flawless foundation. Flawless. The shade that I had was 74 Deep. the shade that I had was 74 deep, but it turned out to be just a bit too yellow for my liking. So I ended up not using it anymore. I gave it away to one of my cousins and they love it, which I don't blame them because it's a beautiful foundation. I just can't find the shade for me. If I find a better shade, then that's a foundation that I'd definitely purchase again. But be wary. That foundation is not for everyday wear by any means. That foundation is not everyday wear foundation unless you're the type of person that likes that type of look on you. That's more for photo shoots, filming, like doing something where you're going to be out, one, out long, or two, under heavy lighting and photography or something like that. That is what that foundation is for. Okay, so that about wraps up my pros and cons of these foundations and my favorite foundation, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's anything else you'd like to see, leave a comment below and I'll be sure to get back to you, okay? Enjoy your day.